You're listening to the Business Spotlight podcast presented by the Lancaster Fairfield County Chamber of Commerce. I'm Logan Weaver, the marketing coordinator for the chamber. Thank you for tuning in. Today we have Cindy Smith, the owner of the Frame Shop in Lancaster. How's it going, Cindy?
Just fine, Logan. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's a beautiful day. We got the weather back. Of course, when this episode airs, it'll probably be 30 degrees outside again.
Yeah, and no snow.
No snow.
No snow.
I don't see much snow in the forecast. Let's talk about the Frame Shop. But before we get into that, I want to know a little bit about you for listeners out there who may not know you, may not know about the Frame Shop. Kind of tell us a little bit about you and what you guys do.
Oh, sure. No problem. Well, my husband and I were both lifelong residents of Lancaster. Went to Lancaster High School, graduated. So then I went to Columbus College of Art and Design in interior design. I have a Bachelor of Fine Art and just always loved art. So my mom and dad started the shop in 1975. And so it's been with me my whole life. I have had some other jobs and worked for some design firms in Columbus, but this is where I want to be.
A business like this, you mentioned 1975, which means this year is your guys' 50th anniversary. So not just you and and Steve, which I'll rag on him a little bit because he's playing hooky today.
He sure is. He was supposed to be here.
He was going to be here. So Steve, if you're listening, buddy, where you at?
That's right.
He's going to request his own episode.
Probably.
I don't know if I've got time for that.
I know. He would talk your ear off.
That'll be a 60-minute special. But yeah, 50 years for any business is a huge milestone, but especially one that is locally owned, family owned, that's got to be special.
Oh, thank you, Logan. Yes, it is. I mean, I've lost both my parents already. I'm an only child. And we've had several people over the years that have, been a part of the Frame Shop, worked with us. They're like family. It really means a lot to me. It really does. Hopefully we have another 10, 15 more years, I mean, for Steve and I at least. But yes, I think it's a milestone, and we'd like to celebrate it this year.
Yeah, and I know just from talking with folks who are starting a new business, usually the motto is make it through that first 6 months, make it through that first year, and then if you can make it through that first milestone, then you should be good. There's a lot of businesses who make it to 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, especially during the pandemic when a lot of them, we saw them leave, unfortunately.
Right.
But for you guys to make it 50 years, I think, is a huge accomplishment.
Oh, well, thank you. It's, when you love what you do, it's easy, but yet at the same time, we've reinvented ourselves in those 50 years a lot of times. We've evolved from things and used to carry art supplies. We no longer carry those. We've had to adapt to online sales and so forth, and all the email marketing and Facebook, and it's the technology, even in, our equipment and so forth. I mean, over the year. So in 50 years, we've seen a lot, and it's amazing to me how much our industry's changed.
Oh, absolutely. There's so much constant change, and really in any industry, but especially in small retail specifically. Like there's so much that has changed, not just in the last 50 years, just so much in the last 5 years. I mean, post-pandemic, yeah.
Absolutely, since the pandemic. A lot of the people that I've talked to, other framer friends all around the country, they don't have regular business hours, or they do it by appointment, or they've cut back their hours. And a lot of people in our industry, because it's an old craft, if you kind of look at it, have aged out, and didn't accept the new technology, So it is physically demanding. I mean, it's regular retail out front in our showroom and design services, but in the back, once you sell it, you have to produce it.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about what you guys offer, because it's kind of in the name, the Frame Shop. So you guys
Right.
sell frames, but kind of dive into that a little bit.
Sure. Well, the Frame Shop, you come in and we have a wall of corner samples, or what we call chevrons, and a lot of people have never framed anything before. They've gone and picked a frame up at another retail location, put a picture in it, and they're
Good to
done.
go. Yeah.
You're good to go, and that's fine for a lot of things. But there's also memorabilia that you want to save, or family historical documents, or photographs, and they just start to think, hey, I want to make it different, and I want to make it my own. I want to personalize it. And that's where we come in, and knowing how to handle the objects long term, so that they will be salvaged and saved for the next generation. I love history, and that's a part of it, you know. And so we really do a lot of shadow box framing. We do sell ready-made frames. You can come in and buy something and take it out the door and put the work in it yourself. We carry a lot of gifts and so forth, cash and carry. Like I said, we used to carry art supplies, but we don't anymore. And when my mom and dad first started the frame shop, they had do-it-yourself booths.
Oh, really?
Which kind of toyed with the idea of maybe putting back in if we expand next door into our brick building.
Right.
Where my dad, would cut the frames on the saw, cut them, and the people would join them, with glue and hammer and nails. We would cut their glass for them because of insurance liability. Yeah. And cut the matting and everything. And basically, they were kind of assembling it. They were attaching their photograph or their item to the mat, very simple, either a print or a photograph usually. Some cross-stitchers, needlework people came in. We teach them how to stretch it, how to clean the glass, put it in the frame, finish the backing off, that kind of thing. And it was novelty. It was just very unique, do it yourself. But we got so busy, and I think in the 80s, people got busier with their jobs, working longer hours, and they didn't have the time to stop in and do it, We've kind of come full circle, and now people want to do the paint parties and to learn how to do it yourself. And
I was going to say, you guys can almost start teaching classes again, just to show people how to make them, yeah.
Yes, and but it takes a lot of extra effort, and usually we found out longer nights. We'd have to stay open like Tuesdays and Friday nights to accomplish that. So
yeah, and especially in this day and age, family comes first.
It does.
Even operating a business like that, family comes first. And I think these days people get that. They completely understand that. And having that flexibility, folks are very much appreciative of that. And, they're willing to respect that too. So if you guys are able to offer that but find that balance, then yeah, I think it could be a good idea in the future. Yeah.
Right. I mean, we've got 4 little grandchildren, and I want to spend time with them. And we're in there a lot anyways. And I just don't have that kind of time in my life.
Absolutely. Yeah. Got to spend time with the grandkids.
Got to. That's right.
Yeah. We were just kind of talking about that before we started, finding the time off and finding time for yourself, even as a business owner. And I think there's so much locally owned businesses here in Lancaster, which you love to see, but you also got to make time for yourself. There are some who own 2, 3, 4 businesses in town.
Right.
And just being able to find that family time is crucial when you're trying to balance all that.
Oh, it really is. I mean, I admire them. I really do. And that's how my mom and dad kind of started. It was the craft house first, and then they did framing within that. And then the frame shop became its own business, and then they let the craft house go. So, it was sort of like evolution. It really was. You find your niche and what you're good at and what you enjoy doing and a service that your town needs, And so, and then it just becomes second nature.
One of the common themes that I found here recently in some of these interviews that we've done with some of the locally owned businesses is being local, having that local presence is so valuable. And especially when it comes to you guys, because you just mentioned it. You could go to a larger retailer, you could go online, buy a frame, and boom, there you go. Mm-hmm. But you mentioned that you can just walk into the shop, you can talk to someone. If someone had, like you mentioned, memorabilia, painting, something that needs framed, but they want it to be special, that's where that personal touch comes in. That's where that local business comes in. And that's where you guys come in. So I think having that service is so valuable compared to just buying online through a major retailer or walking into somewhere that you can buy groceries and just buy a picture frame too. Like it's not the same.
No, it's not the same. And there's different products that go into that. There's museum quality, acid-free, conservation glass, fillets on the inside of matting, French matting, which you paint on, you draw on, how you treat textiles and jerseys compared to, yes, just buying a jersey frame and opening it up and putting it in there.
And then boom, there you go.
And we can match sports teams' colors with our matting. And people, we kind of educate them just enough to make an informed decision and tell them the differences in the prices and the difference in the quality, and we can pretty much meet any budget.
Yeah, and you just mentioned a lot of the services that you can't find really anywhere else, and I think being a local business, being able to have that flexibility and talking with folks, like say, hey, I want to do this that's special, or this that's maybe a little bit out of the ordinary, but you guys can accommodate some of those things.
Right. And we do, have some people that we refer to for photo restoration and frame restoration if we can't get to it ourselves. We don't print right there, but you can email us pictures. You can come in. You can get copies made of photographs. Again, we send them off to a lab. We don't do it right there. We do have a personalized gift line that we laser engrave right there on our product only, so you can come in and get a personalized gift along with our custom framing. So, we try and really customize the experience.
So, again, 50th anniversary. What all do you guys have planned for the big celebration this year?
Oh, yeah. Well, several small ones, I guess. But we already did one in February where I had an artist come in. She was a silhouette artist, and she cut silhouettes. And that was really successful. We filled 4 hours of her cutting silhouettes at 6 minutes apiece.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and so I think people enjoyed that. And then this week we'll be on the shop hop starting tomorrow.
Yep.
We'll be on the chocolate walk.
Love the chocolate walk.
I love the chocolate walk, yes. And then in April sometime, I don't have the date.
Monday, April 14th, which this episode will be out by then. So if you're listening, mark your calendars. Monday, April 14th, 4 p.m., 339 North Columbus Street here in Lancaster, the 50th anniversary ribbon cutting at the Frame Shop.
That's right. Yeah. So looking forward to that. And then, of course, we'll be at the Fairfield County Fair. And we haven't been there all 50 years, but pretty close.
So you guys are there more often than not.
Oh, yeah. We have had 5 different booths, I think, over the course of the time that we've been there. So we love the county fair. We love supporting that. It's a long week, but we get to see a lot of our customers and people that way. And we're going to have some sort of a homecoming with the people that are around here that have worked with us over the years.
Oh, nice.
Probably sometime in August, so before the fair. And then holiday open house, closer to November. So.
Yeah, so it sounds like you guys have a pretty extensive list of events and specials and whatnot. So that's a great way to celebrate your 50th anniversary. I mean, being busy and celebrating the history of the business, and and as you mentioned, thanking the customers and thanking the partners that help make it possible.
That's right. Over the years, so many of them, and we really do appreciate Lancaster. We really do.
So, Cindy, if there is anyone out there listening who is looking at getting something framed, or maybe want to take advantage of some of the other offerings that you guys have, how can they reach out?
Yeah, we're open Tuesday through Fridays 10 to 5, Saturdays 10 to 2. I'm closed on Sundays and Mondays. If they would like to make an appointment, they can, but they do not have to. I mean, if they can't make it in during our business hours or something like that. And we are on Facebook, and we do have a website, theframeshoponline.com and theframeshoponline.net.
Cindy, thank you so much for joining us today. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Logan.
Always great talking with you.
Thank you.
You've been listening to the Business Spotlight podcast presented by the Lancaster Fairfield County Chamber of Commerce.